Tonight, Manchester United have a massive game in the Premier League away against Wolverhampton Wanderers. So what I thought I would do today is tell you guys some of the things that you can expect to see during the game, but then also tell you some things which United should do in order to try and overcome Wolves. Now, for the purpose of today's video, we are solely focusing on Manchester United in possession. So let's get into it.
So before we continue into the video, a quick shout out to today's video sponsor, JerseyFifa.com, the home of all of the greatest football kits. Whether that be the new latest releases or the old classic ones like this, Jersey FIFA has something for everyone, and now you can check it out yourself using the link in the description down below. And also make sure to use code JerseyFifa for 10% off when you order.
I think the best place to start in this particular video is from Manchester United goal kicks. In my opinion, I think this will be quite an end-to-end game at times, meaning shots at both ends, meaning goal kicks at both ends. So Manchester United need to make sure they play out from the back well in order to really build possession and try and control and dominate the game. What will they face when trying to do this? They will face an extremely high pressing side. Wolves are very brave, very bold in the way that they press. For example, their wing-backs can be used to come all the way up the pitch onto the Manchester United fullbacks. In terms of the way that the front three for Wolves will then orientate themselves, they will be focused on going man for man with the United players. So for example, we could see someone like Cunha pushing into a front two with Neto, with Sarabia then dropping deep onto Kobbie Mainoo. We could see Lamina on Casemiro, Gomez on Fernandes. They are happy to go man for man all over the pitch. However, they are smart with the way that they do this. They don't leave themselves exposed at the back. So let's say United have the ball down the right hand side and, Wolves on this occasion get dragged over and get dragged out of position. As United move the ball backwards and then cycle the ball out the other way, Wolves aren't daft. They don't still try and press then. They're then a bit more sensible. They then drop off into a deeper shape to protect themselves at the back. So how can Manchester United tackle this? Well, one way that they can tackle this is by using Onana in goal. And the reason for this is because Onana is an unbelievably good ball-playing goalkeeper. We haven't really seen it in its full potential since he joined United, but I still think he has a massive role to play, particularly in a game like this against a high-pressing side. Simply because if Wolves are man-for-man with all of the outfielders, it's going to leave Onana spare, particularly if he is willing to take his time on the ball. If he does take his time on the ball, that could be the key to unlocking this Wolves high press. Perhaps Neto could get drawn into a press, you work the ball to Varane, to Kobbie Mainoo, and you find a free man like that with bounce passes in behind the Wolves defence. The other reason Onana could be important though, is because of his ability to go long and find Rasmus Højlund, who we can see is in a 1 versus 1 situation up against Dawson at the back. Now I don't necessarily believe that this is Højlund's biggest strength as a target man, but it is a way in which Erik ten Hag has used him this season. And if Højlund is able to use his physical attributes in this game, applying pressure to Dawson and holding the ball up, which he needs to work on, but if he can do that, then you have potential to really hurt Wolves, particularly if you can get on the second ball in behind this Wolves midfield like this, and then look for runners like Marcus Rashford or perhaps Garnacho down the right hand side, Rasmus Højlund. That is a way in which United can hurt Wolves when playing out from the back, by actually going more direct. The other thing that United can do here at goal kicks, if they actually want to, keep the ball a bit more playing out from the back and play the ball a little bit shorter, is they could once again invert Dalot from right back into midfield. And the reason that this could be a useful weapon is because if Casemiro is pushed higher, in Kobbie Mainoo and Diogo Dalot, we now have two of our most press-resistant players at the club, I would say, alongside Lisandro Martinez and also Luke Shaw. This could give United a nice little base to actually get technical ball players in these areas. Now, in terms of the pressing structure that they would then face, the wing-backs probably wouldn't be as involved for Wolves. I would expect that we would see more of a front three like this, with Sarabia high, would then see man-to-man in midfield, and aggressive centre-backs like this. But I do feel that getting Kobbie Mainoo and Dalot into these positions, their technical ability, their ability to receive the ball on the turn, that could be key. If United, for example, can get the ball to Kobbie Mainoo, he can show press resistance and he can turn Gomez in midfield. Suddenly he is now the spare man and the Wolves players are one player down. So that's definitely something that United could do in this game. In terms of playing the ball out from the back, I think it will be quite difficult. I think it's going to be a big part of this match, so watch out for it. Another important part of this game will be whether Manchester United can actually take control and dominate the ball, and importantly, like I said, really control the game. Wolves will not make it easy for them. Wolves will often now sit off in more of a 5-2-3 shape. However, they aren't as passive as what the shape suggests. For example, should someone like Bruno Fernandes try and get the ball in these positions, Kilman will leave his centre-back position to be nice and aggressive to win the ball back higher up the pitch. The same for Totti on the other side of the defence. He is willing to be aggressive, step out into these areas to try and win the ball back for his side. However, these players are only willing to go so far. At the end of the day, they are centre-backs. They can't afford to leave the defence and go all the way up front to follow a man. So a way in which Manchester United can hurt this Wolves side is by someone like Bruno Fernandes starting higher and then dropping a little bit deeper. Or it could be the same for Casemiro or Kobbie Mainoo, depending on how Ten Hag structures it. But because Wolves initially are 3 versus 3 here, and then technically 2 versus 2 here, if someone like Casemiro can start higher near this centre-back up here, but then drop deep outside of the shape, Totti has to pass him on to someone else. He can't move all the way into these positions. And that is where you can cause confusion and give yourself a +1 in the build-up. We can see that United now have 6 players here, Wolves only have 5. And with United possessing a lot of technicians in these deeper areas, particularly on the left-hand side, again, it could allow United to build the ball up and progress the ball forward. The other area where there will be room is just in general outside of that Wolves midfield. Wolves tend to be quite narrow, quite compact with their midfield shape, with the front 3 court a little bit higher up the pitch. These are the areas, Bruno Fernandes in this sort of pocket of space here, perhaps Dalot at times rotating. These are the areas where United can hurt Wolves and progress the ball forward into the final third. Now, the important thing for United in these situations is that they pick and choose their moments to go forward. Because if United turn this into a game where they rush the ball forward too quickly, they might create chances. They might hurt this Wolves defence. However, at the same time, you are running the risk of Wolves winning the ball back, and then when Wolves do that, they are unbelievably good in transition with a lot of good ball carriers. In particular, Gomez in midfield, Neto and Cunha. Some of the best ball carriers in the Premier League in that front 3. They are very, very good in these areas, and United aren't great at defending these situations. So it's important that United reduce the chances of that happening. I think building up with this sort of shape in midfield is the key to doing that, but then the intention has to be right. Don't play too quickly, keep the ball. Now, if United are able to dominate the ball and really control the game, the next task will be breaking down a stubborn Wolves defence. We can see them in this back 5 shape here. It's very difficult to create overloads on the last line. So United might need to use different forms of attacking patterns. Now, the issue for United in this game is going to be progressing the ball through the middle of the pitch. I do think that will be quite challenging. We can see 3 centre-backs in this area, the double pivot as well. It is difficult to progress the ball in those areas. Add that the fact that United don't progress the ball very well at the best of times in those areas. I think the key will be out wide. I don't think this is optimal. I would like to see United use the central areas of the pitch as I discussed yesterday, but I don't think it's going to happen in this game. So in terms of a realistic preview, I think the ball will be progressed out wide much more. However, fear not, United can still be successful in these areas as long as, again, the intention is right. The team doesn't need to be too direct. We shouldn't rely on 1 versus 1 ability out wide constantly. It can happen in moments because we have good wingers, but it shouldn't be our main threat. Instead, what I think the important thing will be here is rotations in the final third and creating this 3-man little dynamic in the wide positions. Now, the reason that this can be successful is because Wolves once again find themselves quite narrow, and Cunha and Sarabia are fairly passive in the way that they track back, meaning that once again the space is in this sort of area here. So, if United are able to combine in these areas, someone like Casemiro can make a run like this. The 3rd-man run from a deeper position in midfield really could be the way to hurt this Wolves side. Now again, we can see why it's important to only do this at the right time, because if we lose the ball, Kobbie Mainoo is now isolated and got a lot of room to cover. So it's important that United pick and choose their moments to do this. However, I do feel that on both sides of the pitch, there is the potential, let's grab the ball, the potential to hurt the Wolves defence with these combinations. Let's say Marcus Rashford gets the ball here. Bruno Fernandes makes an aggressive run, dragging Gomez and also Kilman into these areas. That's when you can then find Kobbie Mainoo on the backwards pass, set it back a little bit, and now you can find perhaps players in zone 14. If the right-hand half-space player comes a little more central into this sort of area, that's where United can now cause problems. So again, let's look at how it works down the right-hand side. Garnacho's got the ball. Let's say someone like Casemiro is going to make the run forward, dragging Lamina, dragging Totti, opening up the space for someone like Diogo Dalot to receive the backwards pass. Now go inside into this position, where Bruno Fernandes could perhaps be. Now there is a chance of central creation. Again, it will be difficult, but I think it is possible. Bruno Fernandes now playing passes through to Rasmus Højlund. It could work. Will it happen? I'm not too sure. I think the more likely dynamic is more of an emphasis on attacking down the line, perhaps 1-2s in these areas. I think United will find it extremely difficult to create chances in the final third. Wolves are very stubborn from a defensive point of view, and United under Erik ten Hag are by no means perfect in an attacking sense. However, if United are patient, look to control the game, and look to break down Wolves, they could win this game. And it comes at a very important time of the season. Players now returning from injury. A big win here an emphatic win, a statement-making win, could be a chance for United to really kickstart their season in the second half of the campaign. Will it happen? I'm not too sure. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you want to know more thoughts of mine going into this game, make sure to tune into this afternoon's live stream. So basically, get notifications on the channel. You will get notified when I go live this afternoon, and I will also be live just before kickoff to give my pre-game thoughts. Apart from that though, we are finished for today. So thank you guys for watching, I hope you have enjoyed it, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.